the question of preservation of bodies in that hospital. And I agree with Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. that from Pumwani to City Mortuary is 8.2 kilometers. There is no reason why bodies should be waiting for 2-3 days before they can be carried to a place where it is more dignified to preserve. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, is that there are even more serious allegations, as per the chair, in regard to child trafficking. Now, child trafficking is a very serious issue, Mr. Speaker, because I saw a report in one of the local dailies, local TV stations, about how children are trafficked from and bodies, and perhaps that's the reason why the bodies are kept there. It's not because they have no means to transport them to the city mortuary. It's actually because they must be there to be used as an excuse, so that every time a healthy child is born, an excuse is given that it is part of the children that have died. So holding them for more period gives more traffickers of children more excuse and more time. And it's a very lucrative business where, you know, it is international in nature. If you've been watching CNN, CNN has been running a project that is bringing attention to the slavery that is child trafficking. I had an occasion to work with the Johns Hopkins University in Washington, D.C. in my days 10 years ago on anti-trafficking project. And it is a mess, especially in countries where they're in conflict, but also in places where we have slums. That is why the Pumwani is so popular, because it's a catchment area of people who live in slums. And since we have the project that for free birth for mothers, then you have enough numbers for this business to thrive. Mr. Speaker, that is more what bothers me most, because it is slavery of untold magnitude. And it's something that we must be able to do something. And when I watched that documentary, I actually forgot, and I wanted to talk to the chair of the committee to ask what the committee is trying to do. I saw members of National Assembly being interviewed in that regard, because it's a serious cartel, Mr. Speaker, that is involved in this business. A serious cartel. People who do it for international business. And I hope that this committee will be bold enough to come up with responses that can be acted upon by this House and this Republic to ensure that the safety of our children is achieved. Finally, I believe that it's our duty as a Senate to continue holding our counties accountable.
Pumwani Hospital. Now, we're all aware that Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko stormed into Pumwani Hospital and discovered quite a lot of things. Maybe a lot of us don't know how Mike Sonko arrived at the premises. The guy arrived in a boda. I kid you not. And he was dressed like some maga from downtown Nairobi. Now, when Sonko was done, he had fired a lot of people at Pumwani Hospital in his capacity as the governor of Nairobi County, which runs this famous Pumwani Hospital, where a vast majority of Kenyans are born. Yes, not Nairobians, Kenyans, because we even have people from outside the county being born at this hospital. Well, to be honest, things have changed a little now, because we have so many private hospitals and maternity hospitals all over the place. But in my days, when I was younger, the only place was either Pumwani, or you go to one of the posh big hospitals like Nairobi or Aga Khan. But of course now, people are spoiled for choices. There are so many hospitals. Anyway, Pumwani still handles a very huge amount of births every day. And they're supposed to be experts, because they've been doing this thing for decades. Even before independence. So they're supposed to be very good at what they do. But that's not the case in this hospital. And I'll come back to that in a bit. But first, there's something very strange and odd that has happened here. People have come out criticizing Sonko and criticizing the actions he took. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, what? That union, have come out and really hit out at Sonko. They have said he did not follow procedure. There's a certain procedure that these things are handled. That you don't just fire doctors like that. You take it easy. and you refer to the right authorities, to the right boards for disciplinary action, etc., etc. And then, this is the big one for me, they came out and tried to explain how the 12 dead babies became dead. Now, this one made me angry, because why do people think that Kenyans are idiots? Because they can explain till next year, but my simple question is this. Why were these dead bodies of toddlers hidden? Why? It doesn't matter how they died. My question is, why were they hidden? And there was no record of them anywhere. Why? Now, Kenyans have been complaining for a very long time about a very evil business, evil trade. You can't even call it an evil trade. It's just something very evil that has been going on at this particular maternity hospital. And this is the selling of babies. You are a poverty-stricken Kenyan. You don't have the means to give birth in a big hospital. You go to Pumwani. You struggle to raise whatever cash you need to be able to make this thing happen. And then when you arrive there, after you deliver, the doctors tell you your baby's dead. And you're shown a dead body. Meanwhile, your baby actually is alive. And has just been sold off to somebody else. Now, we're being told by some quarters that actually the prices are 50,000, 50,000 Kenya shillings for a girl and 10,000 shillings for a boy. Now, this is the kind of figures, if a Nigerian saw, they would just faint. Because to Nigerians, a baby girl is not a baby. A proper baby is a bouncing baby boy. Now, this kind of very backward thinking has been very well displayed in Nigerian movies. I think most of you will agree with me. So why should a girl be 50K and a boy 10K? It actually should be the other way around. Anyway, these are the figures being given out. Now, the discovery of those dead bodies of toddlers at Pumwani Hospital, is being investigated by state agencies. And quite rightly so. Because many Kenyans believe, that the only reason those dead bodies were hidden was for this evil trade. That is, the dead bodies were supposed to be used to get live babies. Oh boy. Anyway, we hope that these investigations will be speeded up, because this is an evil that must end. Because we have been hearing about it for way too long, and people have been complaining, then they say it is finished. People complain, and then the investigations, they go nowhere, and then things quieten, and then we hear things are still going on as usual. It's business as usual. This is terrible. It must come to a stop. If indeed it is still going on, and many Kenyans believe it is. Now, according to me, what Sonko did was the right thing, because there's some very drastic, crazy problems in our country that require drastic, crazy solutions. Drastic, crazy actions. Because if you go softly against these problems, you'll get crushed under them. And I mean that literally. Because obviously everything in Kenya is controlled by very powerful cartels. Cartels that murder, cartels that have very important people in high places, etc., etc. And that is why I fully support Sonko's move as far as this hospital is concerned. Now, there's something I found very interesting. Even as Sonko was questioning the nurses, some of them were rude. And even the daggers they were giving the governor of Nairobi. I don't know if it's a spirit in this Pumwani hospital. I know many Kenyans are not aware. But I believe some of the rudest nurses, most rude, crude nurses in Kenya can be found at Pumwani hospital. And I've seen it with my own eyes. One of my kids was born there. I've gone to visit people there. I've seen it several times with my own eyes. And I've also heard very many horror stories. Now, this is completely separate from the allegations of the baby trade. These nurses are just rude. Like, for instance, when women are in labor pain, you'll hear a nurse telling the poor woman very crazy things. Things which I cannot repeat on this family channel. I can't. But let me just give you an idea, because I know you're curious. At least let me give you a general idea. You'll hear the woman being told, oh, you are enjoying yourself when you're conceiving that child. Now you can't stand a little pain. Come on. And then crazy remarks when you're discharged. They tell you, see you next year. Now I show you I know what I'm saying. Because I get it and I understand. These nurses have worked. That is true. They work under very difficult conditions. That is true. But still, that is not an excuse to make the life of your patients hell. Even as they're going through the excruciating pain that people need to go through to deliver their babies. Instead of releasing their frustrations on their patients, see, they just change careers, do something else, go become a mechanic or something. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.